Washington's war machine.
Yeah, let's just talk about the big picture here. This tit-for-tat strategy that has been going on for over a week now started on July 7th. And this past week, early in the week, President Trump made it clear that if the Iranians did not surrender by the end of this week, that he would then go after civilian infrastructure in Iran. He'd go after bridges, he'd go after power plants, and so forth and so on. But what happened was that at the end of this past week, he started, or the United States started, to go after civilian infrastructure. We went after bridges, we went after power plants, and we went after a desalination plant inside of Iran. Now, what the Iranians did was they instantly retaliated against similar targets in countries like Kuwait. Furthermore, they ramped up the bombing campaign against Jordan, and they bombed Saudi Arabia for the first time in almost 4 months. So they made it clear that they were going to play tit for tat. Moreover, the Iranians made it clear that next week, if President Trump went after civilian infrastructure in a big way, they would basically shut down the flow of oil out of the Persian Gulf and out of the Red Sea and out of the United Arab Emirates, which has a very important port that's located outside of the Strait of Hormuz. All of this would be shut down. And furthermore, the Iranians would go after all sorts of power plants, desalination plants across the Middle East. So the Iranians made it clear that they were playing hardball. Now, when you look at these threats in the context of what the Iranians have actually been able to do over the past few days, in terms of hitting various targets in Jordan and in other places in the Middle East, it's manifestly clear that the Iranians have the capability to target all sorts of infrastructure inside of these Middle East states and do great destruction. And both the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal have run articles in recent days about how effective the missile strikes are. So I think what has happened here, Chris, and I'm just saying I think this is what happened, is that last night, which is Saturday/Sunday night, the American retaliation against Iran did not include civilian infrastructure in any meaningful way. They did not go after bridges. They did not go after power plants. They did not go after desalination plants, which they had been doing. We had been moving in that direction, but that stopped last night. And the question you have to ask yourself is, number one, why? And number two, is that a harbinger of what we think will happen in the coming week?
Shalom. Call Yahweh Shemil Shabbat Hashem Kwadash, double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, even the elders that came before them. They taught us His truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers that push the word of truth and in sincerity, the whole elect tabernacle of David. And the elder Yahshua back with the WW3 Daily update. Shalom and salutations to you all. All right, so this guy asked the question, what does it mean? It means this. What did his dissertation mean? Joel 3:10. What was he talking about? Let's go back and examine it. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. These are those missiles that the Iranians perfected and are now whooping Babylon the Great's ass. Let the weak say I'm strong. What did Mearsheimer? He just explained how effective Iran's missiles are. These are missiles. Spears, swords. They worked on their missile system. Beat your plowshares into swords. Take your gardening tools, right? Switch your program up. Put more money into missile research, right? Now you're driving off the only last superpower on the face of the earth. Let's let John speak a little more. So the weak is saying that they're strong right now. They're winning. Slovakia. Devil's mad. We're winning. Keep going, devil.
No more buying expensive.
Devil will try to throw you off. Hang tight.
Iranians would go after all sorts of power plants, desalination plants across the Middle East. So the Iranians made it clear that they were playing hardball. Now, when you look at these threats in the context of what the Iranians have actually been able to do over the past few days, in terms of hitting various targets in Jordan and in other places.
Hitting targets, talk about those missiles. Okay. Oh, they got rocket. What happened to rockets? Oh, Iran is firing rockets. The Hezbollah is firing rockets. Oh, missiles are whooping ass right now.
At least, it's manifestly clear that the Iranians have the capability to target all sorts of infrastructure inside of these Middle East states and do great destruction.
And Esau is flabbergasted about that. They didn't think that Iran was up on it like that, or that they had that technology mastered like that. They're finding out the hard way.
And both the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal have run articles in recent days about how effective the missile strikes are.
All right, now those articles, okay, that's for tomorrow, which is War and Rumors of War Tuesday. But let's get it real quick. Let's go to Matthew 24 and 6. Real quick. Because what is it talking about? War and Rumors of War talking about the news. Six. He said 666. It's a number of a man. Quit tripping. What the hell is this? Matthew 24 and 6 in the NLT. And you will hear of wars and threats of wars. NIV. You will hear wars and rumors of wars. You got rumors and threats. But here's what we're looking for. What does wars and rumors of war mean? It means the news. The news reports. See this news report. Why did they take that out? They took that out. This is terrible. They took that out so I can't do this. Where's reports? What was it called? Aramaic. Right here. What is this? Reports of wars. News reports. News of battles. Reports. What is this? What is he talking about? What did he just say? The New York Times and who? Wall Street.
And both the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal have run articles in...
What kind of article? A news article. A news report. In their newspaper. That's what wars and rumors of war is talking about. The fame of World War III.
And days about how effective the missile strikes are. So I think what has happened here, Chris, and I'm just saying I think this is what happened, is that last night, which is Saturday/Sunday night, the American retaliation against Iran did not include civilian infrastructure in any meaningful way. They did not go after bridges. They did not go after power plants. They did not go after desalination plants, which they had been doing. We had been moving in that direction, but that stopped last night. And the question you have to ask yourself is, number one, why? And number two, is that a harbinger of what we think will happen in the coming week?
That's right.
Now, my guess is that it stopped last night because the Gulf states called up President Trump and said, you absolutely cannot go after civilian infrastructure inside of Iran, because if the Iranians retaliate, they will destroy our societies. They will wreck our power plants. They will wreck our desalination plants. And it looks like, again, just looks like Trump listened. And then that raises the question, what will Trump do this coming week? Because he has promised that he is going to unleash the dogs and go after all this civilian infrastructure in Iran. But he now knows what the consequences of that will be.
And here's where we are today. Okay? What's next?
Well, he's so mercurial. Of course, it's very dangerous to predict. He could very well bomb civilian infrastructure tomorrow night. One senses he's flailing about.
Yeah.
Of course, the entire war on Iran was built on a fantasy that didn't come to fruition, fed to him largely by Bibi Netanyahu. But it doesn't appear that there's any real strategy other than an escalation of force. And I think the naive hope that that will make the Iranians bend. But you may.
And that's the Most High hardening Pharaoh's heart. Nigga, you know you're losing, right? Yeah, but we're going to go ahead anyway. Okay, your heart is hardened.
Another take on that.
Well, I think you're right that he signed the MOU on 17 June. And as I've emphasized on numerous occasions, on numerous platforms, that was a surrender document.
Yeah.
The Iranians won on every point. Then after signing the agreement, he decided to challenge the Iranians on the whole question of who controls the Strait of Hormuz. To me,
after he signed the agreement, the Most High hardened Pharaoh's heart, and the nigga turned around and went up against it. Do you understand what's going on? It's Egypt all over again. Pharaoh's heart, which is his mind, God changed the Pharaoh's mind again. Okay, well, I'll sign the MOU. God hardened Pharaoh's fuck the MOU. We're going to annihilate and obliterate everything.
It's very clear from Article 5 of the Memorandum of Understanding that Iran controlled the Strait in the 60-day negotiating period. And then moving forward, control of the Strait would be settled between Iran and Oman. That was the deal.
But
there was nothing about the United States.
But the art of the deal, the fart of the deal, right? The fart of the deal couldn't handle it. Why? Because the Most High hardened his fart and hardened his heart. Okay? Donald Trump is the Pharaoh. God hardened Pharaoh's heart. What does that mean? He was controlling his mind. Made him do some stupid shit in the heat of battle.
Controlling the Strait. But what President Trump tried to do was open a U.S.-dominated channel in the Gulf they got around Iranian control.
It was made to look like a damn fool. 2nd Ezra 9:3 in the GMT. There will be earthquakes, national rebellions, international intrigues, unstable leaders, and confused rulers. Why? Because God hardened Pharaoh's heart. When you see these things happening, you will know that they are what God Most High has spoken about since the beginning of creation. So it looks funny. Why does nigga keep flip-flopping? His heart is being hardened.
Of the Strait of Hormuz. And the Iranians said, unsurprisingly, this is unacceptable and it violates Article 5. But Trump felt confident that he could basically throw the MOU under the bus and he could engage in a tit-for-tat military strategy with the Iranians where the United States would win. In other words, he seemed to believe that we had newfound coercive leverage over the Iranians after signing the June 17th MOU. But this is delusional.
Why? All right. I will choose your delusions. All right? Why is it delusional? Because the Most High got him under mind control. Got him looking like Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar the clown, the particular one that was walking around looking like an animal.
Nothing has changed in the dynamics of the conflict, as we have seen over the past week or so. The Iranians have a formidable missile and drone capability, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Let the weak say I am strong.
And the idea that we have a newfound advantage over the Iranians now that we didn't have when we signed the June 17th
is completely delusional because he's undermined.
The MOU agreement makes no sense at all.
Makes perfect sense. When you understand, okay, let my people, oh, you niggas get out of here. And Pharaoh, God hardened Pharaoh, go get them niggas. Follow them down into the ocean, the Red Sea.
Well, the irony is that there was huge opposition from the hardliners in Iran to essentially agree to this MOU, and that raises the other issue. If there is a negotiated way out, it isn't going to look like the MOU, which was a surrender document. It's going to look a lot worse for the United States because the MOU was predicated on phases. At this time around, the Iranians are going to demand that they have about $100 billion in frozen assets. They're going to want that a release. They're going to want a lot of stuff up front.
I agree with that. I mean, there's no question that the moderates won with regard to whether or not Iran should sign the MOU on.
He keeps saying Iran won. He keeps saying Iran won. Iran won with the MOU.
June 17th. The hardliners said, don't sign it, you can't trust the Americans. But the moderates prevailed, and then the hardliners proved to be correct. So they're now in the driver's seat as best we can tell. And it seems to me, given that we don't have any military strategy for defeating Iran, that we're going to, at some point, have to move to a memorandum of understanding number 2. And it will be the hardliners, not the moderates, who are in the driver's seat. And
let's cut to the chase and see who wins. Somebody's running right here. Who's that? Then these, who are these? These are the land of the Assyrians. Who's that? 2nd Ezra 15 and 30. Also the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians, and then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they shall turn themselves conspiring together in great power to persecute them, then these shall be trouble. Who are these? These Assyrians. Then these shall be trouble, bled, and keep silence through their power, and shall run like shall flee, run like bitches. What did he just say? What's going to happen? We don't know what's going to happen when they flip-flopping like the. Let's cut to the chase and see what's going to happen.
Any military strategy for defeating Iran that we're going to, at some point, have to move to a memorandum of understanding number 2. And it will be the hardliners, not the moderates, who are in the driver's seat. And as I think you correctly point out, those hardliners will push forward a tougher deal for Trump to swallow.
And then go more war. War, more war is in the horizon. This is WW7. Let's get WW7 real quick. So, Mearsheimer just summed up what's been going on for the last week pretty much up to today. Where's WW? This is World War, according to WW.
If it's This is WW7, and it looks like the war with Iran has hit another level. The U.S. has hit the Darkovian nuclear power plant. You can see the shots where they landed on the right. This place is targeted amongst a plethora of other targets. They continue to pound Iran day after day, and this comes after Trump says they have no more missiles, they have no more navy, they have no more anything. But yet they can turn around and return fire. And return fire they have done. They've hit areas in Kuwait, Bahrain. All of our allies are taking shots big time. And Kuwait got pounded. We've also got hit in Jordan, and we've got troop deaths stacking up now. People on the home front not happy about this. They're saying that this is never going to end. We told you this months ago. Now, in this escalation, you have 2 Greek-owned tankers hit. The war keeps widening as the U.S. airstrikes are raining down at this very moment. Casualties on the rise on both sides, and you have some ceasefire efforts out there by mediators that are proposing a 10-day ceasefire, but there ain't nothing happening here. Every time the U.S. says they're in talks, the Iranians come out and say there are none and that Trump is full of it. They are vowing to draw this thing out. The Houthis have escalated. They announced a maritime embargo on Saudi shipping. This is world war. When people are going to realize this, I don't know, but for all the sheep out there, they probably won't get it until the nuke drops, and that's the end. So, join me for the live streams where I've got more time to talk about this in greater detail.
All right. This is World War. That's all we need, Amanda, like that. The old-fashioned way. Rev 11, 14 in any language. Second woe is past, behold, the third woe is coming shortly. With that, we pray the elect ratified you brothers with peace, sister Shalom.